Yeah, where are you from?
I'm from South Korea originally, but now I reside in Sanford, Florida. So I've been in Florida about 7 years.
And what do you do for a living?
I'm a tech consultant, so I do HR consulting for schools and counties.
How many years of experience do you have in type of job?
About 7 years.
What kind of education do you have?
I have a bachelor's in finance. I got it from Arizona State back in 2013. So I've been in the workforce pretty much about 11 years, ever since I graduated college.
How did you get started in that field?
Well, I had a bunch of internships when I was in college. So, I worked for JP Morgan, ING Investment Management. So I had a lot of good companies on my resume. So it was very easy for me to transition to different fields. So my degree, like I said, is in finance, but I do HR consulting and tech consulting, which is nothing related to my degree at all. But, it's just the skills that you kind of develop over time, right? So
What do you love about being a tech consultant?
the freedom. So I work from home. I get to just go about my day. And obviously you have a great responsibility, right? You got to get your job done. So, I set my own meetings. And then, once I get all that done, I'm free to do whatever. I can go to the gym, I can go grocery shopping. So I really like the work-life balance that it gives me.
What are the benefits and the perks that you get from that job?
Like I said, it's time, because time is the most valuable asset. Because again, you can lose money, but you can always make that back. But the time that you lose, you never get that back, right? And that's what I like about my job, is because I have that freedom, and my job trusts me to, get my work done. But I'm also free to do anything I want, right? As long as I deliver. So
How many hours do you work in that job every week?
it varies. Sometimes I work 40, sometimes I work over 40, sometimes I work 10. So it varies, but my pay doesn't change, it depends on the client and what phase of the project we're in. Things like that. There are a lot of variables that come into play.
How much money would you say you can earn every month doing that job?
Well, it depends. There's a lot of contractors, and there's people like me who work for a company. Like me, for instance, I bring in about 11,000 a month.
What is the hardest part of doing that job?
Again, the responsibility, because you have a lot of freedom with your time. So it's easy to get sidetracked and not focus on your job, not get your job done. And that's the biggest thing I see with people in my industry, is because since you work from home, you're free to do whatever you want. They kind of forget about the job, or they kind of slack and go on all about their day, and then eventually catches up to them. So it's, like I said, it's about time management.
What is the best advice do you have for someone who want to become a tech consultant, or for someone who is doing that type of job?
Just work hard. Again, people always talk about, I do this, I do that, but at the end of the day, if you work hard enough, people are going to notice that, and people will reward you for that. And one most important thing is you got to go after your goals, because, hey, you might be an excellent employee, but at the end of the day, if you're not assertive, and hey, if you feel like you're being underpaid and you're doing more, you got to go approach your boss and ask for a raise and things like that, because too many people are too scared to kind of engage into that conversation with management. But they like to see people like that, because they like people who like to go after their goals. So that's my biggest advice is, if you think know your worth and go after what you want.
Would you advise someone to do that type of job?
Yeah, again, I have the freedom, right? And that's the most important part. Sometimes I work 8 hours a week, sometimes I work 40 hours a week. It's just that, I would love everyone to have the same job as me, right? But then again, it's all about the responsibility and time management.
How do you manage your personal life and your professional life?
Well, they're kind of intertwined, because again, I work from home for so long, so work is just kind of like part of my life now because, and that's the bad thing. Like I don't go to the office or anything like that, so I feel like I'm working nonstop every day because I'm at home. But as far as balance, again, that's what I have, right? Like I can go to the gym if I want to. I can push back a meeting to go to the doctors or, pick up my girlfriend from the airport, and everyone kind of understands because that's how my industry is. As long as you perform, you get that leisure.
What do you wish you knew before you starting at this job?
What do I wish I knew? I don't know. That's a tough question to answer. I mean, like, I never really looked at it that way. I just felt that, a lot of people these days, especially this generation, they always kind of blame the external factors, right? And me, like, I feel like I've been working since I was 15 years old, as a waiter, and, I got my internships in college, and there was pretty much since I'm 34 right now, so from 15 to 34, I always had a job. And, people like me who always kind of work towards something or always holds a job, it just kind of gets ingrained in you. And I mean, what I wish I knew is, I guess, just enjoy life a little bit. There was a phase where I really focused on my work, but then again, if you really focus hard enough for 2-3 years, the rewards can be great. Like,
How can someone get this type of job? How can someone get in that field?
well, first you gotta. I mean, the thing is, the reality is, everyone can do what I do, right? Because at the end of the day, when you get a job, you learn what you do at the job. Everyone is capable. It's just that there has to be some break points, and that's why, you have degrees and you go to school and things like that. But just because I have a degree, just because I have a college degree, that doesn't mean that I'm more qualified than you, right? It's just that there has to be some sort of a cutoff point, and that's what I think, college and everything is because it shows you that you're a responsible man who's able to get the, if you have assignments in school, you get it done, things like that. It's not like you have to be a genius.
What is the most expensive thing that you own right now?
I mean, right now, I guess my watch. I mean, I'm wearing a Rolex, so it's this. So this was a dream watch that I always wanted to have, and now that I'm really well off financially, personally, and then I decided to buy a watch, and this is the most expensive thing I ever wore in my life. I mean, this watch is $10,000, so.
Is getting a Rolex worth it?
I mean, that's hard to describe. So, I mean, let me ask you this: if I was gonna give you $1 million right now, would you take it?
Of course, everybody would take
But then there's a catch. What if I said you can't wake up tomorrow?
No, I wouldn't take it.
So what does that tell you? That means that your life right now is worth more than $1 million, right? So that's how you gotta live every day,
I agree.
with positivity. Because at the end of the day, you think you won $1 million, but then, like I said, what if you can't wake up? You're not gonna take that money, right? That money doesn't matter. So that means your life and your time here is more valuable than money, right?
I agree.
So that's the thing that I realized later in life. But again, I'm fortunate enough to be in my position. So I do have a bunch of other brands, and again, it's kind of one of my hobbies, and I worked my way up towards it. And Rolex to me it's not just a watch, it's also a long-term investment, because these watches are very, they're highly desirable, and later on 10-20 years from now I can pass it to my kids as an heirloom, or if I want to auction it off for something, it's going to be worth a lot more than what I bought it for, right? So that's why it's like an investment that I can enjoy. So that's why I prefer Rolex against other watches. But I'm a watch enthusiast, so I have a bunch of different brand watches. But at the end of the day, this is what holds the value the most. So
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, sir. Thank you for that interview.